Hello, everyone. Welcome to the year two premiere of Marketer Pitch Freestyle, unfiltered, unlimited, uncensored. Hello, Marketer Pitch family. I'm Yesenia Reynoso, one half of the squad. And to the opposite end of the spectrum is my good friend, partner, and marketing wizard himself, Corey Davis.
Hey everyone, hope everyone's summer is doing great. Welcome back, and I'm so excited to get this Intermission Series off to a great start.
I think it is definitely an exciting time for us both. We are back in the summer swing of things with year two of the Intermission Series, Marketer Pitch Freestyle, and we are so happy to have you with us, especially after an amazing 12-episode run of season two of our general podcast, Marketer Pitch. So welcome, everyone.
Yes, and I do want to say welcome to our international guest. I know over the past two seasons, we have been seeing increase of listenership from other countries such as Germany and I believe the United Kingdom. So, welcome to our international guest and continuous welcome to our guests that are here in the United States.
Thank you so much for that mention, Corey. And absolutely, we want to say hello to all of our domestic and international followers who are listening to us, not only on the general podcast, but also on the Intermission Series. We are so happy to see the Marketer Pitch community to grow at such an amazing rate. And hearing that we have listeners from all across the globe is truly something that both Corey and myself are forever grateful. So thank you so much for tuning in, listening to us, and being part of this special journey.
Yes. And if you're not familiar with our Intermission Series, we actually started it last summer. So I would say first, if you're not familiar, go back a few episodes and check out our Intermission Series last summer. It was some great content. But if you're not familiar, these are quick 15-minute hot takes or sound bites that Yesenia and I are discussing back and forth. And, we want to just bring our listeners into our conversations because we're having these on a daily basis, debating about the hot topics from a marketing, communications, and advertising perspective. So I know we have a hot, juicy one today. You guys are talking about it. We're about to talk about it. We've been talking about it for the past couple of months. And, I'll let you say, I'll let you shine, but this is definitely an important conversation we definitely wanted to have for our first episode today.
Absolutely. And I think this is definitely a conversation that everybody is having at this moment, something that we just simply cannot ignore. And before we quickly dive into episode 4, I just want to let everybody know that to access the first 3 episodes of year 1 of the Intermission Series, and as well as all 12 episodes of season 1 and season 2 of Marketer Pitch. They are available across major podcasting mediums and as well as YouTube. But for all of our listeners here today, please note that for the Intermission Series year 1, it is living exclusively on YouTube and Spotify, and the same format will be duplicated again for year 2. So if you are interested in listening to Marketer Pitch Freestyle, follow, share, comment, and subscribe exclusively on YouTube and Spotify. Follow us across Twitter and Instagram at Marketer Pitch. And if you have a comment or question, please don't hesitate to send that over either via social media, email, or any other platforms. We definitely have a hot topic that we want to discuss with you all, and we're just going to go ahead and dive right in to year 2 of Marketer Pitch Freestyle. Is unfiltered, unlimited, uncensored. So let's kick it off with episode 4, and it is a topic that again, it is a hot button issue. It is one that that requires our immediate attention. It is a societal issue that has forever changed the landscape, and it is a topic that we discussed during the season 2 finale of Marketer Pitch. I'm talking about Roe v. Wade. And this particular story has, again, forever altered the landscape of our society across the board. It doesn't matter whether you're pro-choice or pro-life. This, if you are a woman, this has forever shaped the way as to how we view our society, politics, and even for us market advertisers and communicators, the way as to how we transmit messaging across this hot button topic. And so I want to share with everybody here an opinion piece that I wrote on PR News, where I offer my thoughts on why public relations must lead on women's reproductive rights, I should say. And it is something that I think every single marketer and advertiser and communicator must have a clear understanding. So I'm going to read a small snippet out of it. We'll definitely have this article available for everybody once this episode goes live exclusively on YouTube, on Spotify, on the comment section. So it reads, from a communication perspective, Roe v. Wade messaging is carefully complex. For years, standard practice for in-house communicators and agency PR pros urged silence on political and social issues, at least publicly. That won't work any longer. Instead, PR pros should employ action-oriented messaging. On a hot-button topic such as this, we cannot stay silent. We have become too comfortable building an illusion instead of being brutally honest about what's in front of us. A seismic shift occurred late last month. Women are deeply hurt. They are furious. The elimination of a fundamental right greatly raises concerns about the country's direction. Moreover, we are living in an unprecedented era. Calls for bold transformative change are getting louder. Major cultural, political, and economic moments are colliding. As such, PR pros are shape-shifting into social political commentators regardless of their industry sector. And so, Corey, I want to bring you into this loop because we have already offered our thoughts during the season 2 finale. I have already expressed to you my opinions on this specific topic. As a woman, I could not be any more offended, any more furious, greatly concerned about the overall direction of the country. But as a communicator, I can't help but wonder if the industry is not doing enough to not only address this topic, but also spearhead conversations in educating and informing Americans about important societal policies that, in all honesty, we must now start discussing further, because the overall sentiment of our country is at stake.
I agree. And I think your last part, what you just said, is educating. And I think education is the number one thing brands should be doing that they aren't doing. Because it's one thing to just make a statement saying, we support women's rights or women's reproductive rights. But it's another thing to really educate the public, educate the community on why they support. And then also to realize that these are, we're fighting for equal rights. This isn't a woman issue. This isn't a pregnant woman issue. This is equal rights. And I think the conversation needs to go from it being an issue that it only impacts women to impact all of us. And until we have Roe v. Wade, until women have access to make decisions for their own bodies, we don't have equal rights in this country. So I want and the past month was a Pride Month. And I want the same kind of equality taglines and tags that were out last month to continue to this month, because we need to be equal across all genders, sexuality, race, but that also inclusive of Roe v. Wade. So it kind of makes me upset, and I'm also as a male, so I should be upset, but it makes me upset that the level of response I saw was maybe 1 or 2 days from brands actually speaking out of it, and then it dropped off. I have yet today, there's not a Regal brand that is still bringing it up, because they're afraid of their dollars. They're afraid of what will happen to their brand if someone who is pro-life sees they come out against something, or they are just speaking about equal rights, and they don't buy their brand anymore. And I think at a certain time, which we have to start having brands put their money where their mouth is. if you want my dollars, then you have to work for my dollars. As part of working for my dollars is you need to come out when things are injustices are happening in the world. You need to come out and speak out because you're afraid of the backlash if you don't come out, but you should be afraid of the backlash for not speaking up and not being out loud of what the actual rights in this country should be. So, I'm just looking for brands to one, be educating, and then two, it's put your money where your mouth is. And by that, I also mean make sure your internal communication and your internal organization is as equitable as what you're preaching outwards. So don't come out and make a statement if you're not going to support women who are making a tough journey, who may have to get an abortion in a state like Texas or Florida or Georgia or Oklahoma where it's illegal. Make sure they have that support. And by support, I don't like these. And I'm sorry, you're saying I'm going off a tangent. A lot of companies thought it was great just to come out and say, "We'll pay for your abortion rights if you go to another state." But to me, that's a violation of privacy because you're still requiring women to speak up about one of the hardest things they probably will ever have to do in life and have to reveal it just to get what, $2,000 back? No, there needs to be more discretionary ways where these companies can support women and support these organizations internally while if somebody was ever in this kind of situation. And I think they should, and I think these companies have more of a say. Holding companies, where there's advertising holding companies, came out and said it. I know Starbucks, Citigroup, and McDonald's. These big companies, imagine the lobbying power if they came together and went to Congress and said, "We're not going to give you another single campaign dollars contribution to your fund unless you codify Roe v. Wade in the Senate." That's real action, and that's the action I'm afraid I don't think I'm ever going to see.
You know what? You know what's kind of funny in what you mentioned, Corey, because the truth of the honesty, you say that corporations should be more open and more action oriented in their response. The thing is that many people don't realize corporations already run the country. They are already the big bosses. They're the ones who control absolutely all of the all of the lobbying, all of the political spectrums that go in it, because if we're going to be honest here, they're the ones who are constantly buying and bribing these politicians to create policies that rule in their favor. And there also are implementing regulations and legislation that benefits them and not the people. Well, that's another topic for another day.
That is true.
And so a lot of people need to understand that the corporations do have all the power. They are the number one bosses of this country. They are the ones who are running it right now. But again, that's a conversation for another day. I personally feel, like I said, these, especially coming from the PR industry, which is mainly female led, I have been disappointed by the response from the across the spectrum from communications, because I feel we should be doing way more. I feel like some companies are just pulling a simple performative corporate face, or just avoiding the subject altogether because they don't want their reputation and or their profit avenues to be destroyed or severely whiplashed by their consumers. And so I also feel that from an internal communication standpoint, policies and regulations that we're discussing, like reproductive care, equal pay, a flexible work-life balance, all of those should already be incorporated in company policies. And it should be doubled or tripled as much. Yes, while I do applaud some companies, offering solutions, offering their support, educating women, helping them with their expenses, and a woman's decision to pursue any kind of reproductive health should be solely between herself, the woman, and her doctor. There is no reason whatsoever it should be told to an employer. The employer should already have all of these practices and protocols in place. And so it is abundantly clear that the system is clearly not bleeping working. I mean, it's not working. It has become abundantly clear. And we also have a system where we have an entire political spectrum who realistically has done absolutely nothing, to do, to solve this problem. We already knew what the Republican faction was doing, and we already know the total incompetence and idiocracy of the Democratic faction. Having over 30, 50 years, they could have codified Roe v. Wade and decided not to do it. And so what has happened now? We have to be, as communicators, we have to tell stories. We need to understand that we have a sense of duty. It is our right to serve the public, as I mentioned in our press release. We have a responsibility to inform, educate, protect, and assist not only women across the board, especially marginalized women, but we have to protect all individuals, because this is only the beginning. If the Supreme Court, which now their reputation is all but destroyed, can overturn Roe v. Wade, just imagine all of the other important societal rights that now they're going to go after. That means LGBTQ rights, the right to legally marry, interracial marriage, and many other important societal issues that that were resolved years ago by the Supreme Court. Now they're all at risk, and so it now puts companies at an uncomfortable position where now they're going to have to decide as to whether or not they should actually be, they should actually put themselves out there. Now consumers and or individuals are like, put your money where your mouth is. It's like either you put up or stand up. And so through proper advocacy and crisis communications, we have already become activists, and it's up to the companies now to align whatever important societal issues both internal and external groups are talking about. They have to they have to come up with a comprehensive marketing and or communications plan that aligns their mission and values to what the internal and external group sentiments are. And so this is only the beginning. We are dealing with an unprecedented time, but like I said, as a communicator, I think it's become abundantly clear that the system is clearly not working and has to be overhauled, but also we need to stop living under a freaking illusion. We've been living in a dome for so too long. We have in a room full of lies, and it has not helped that the media, the mainstream media, has not been truthful in this entire process, has constantly been manufacturing consent for God knows for how long, and have been able to poison and manipulate the public. There is a reason why, and we've reiterated in previous episodes, why why the general public does not trust the mainstream media anymore. And because of that, it is delivering a cascading effect over to the public relations industry. And so if they're not going to trust the mainstream media, they much less are not going to trust anybody in PR. And so it is now our job to go back to the basics and decide, and truthfully decide and ethically, why do we communicate in the first place? It is our job to inform. It's not our job to manipulate. We're shapeshifters, in so many ways. And it is now time for companies, since they have all the power, and we know they do, it is time for them to stop, putting their interests first, and instead start putting their interests towards their employees, the workers, the people, because those are the ones who are by far going to be affected the most.
I agree. And you couldn't have said it well better. And with that, I think we may have to put a pin on this episode. I have so much more to say. And, maybe we'll continue the conversation on our social media, Twitter particularly. And please reach out if you have any questions. But Yesenia, just your commentary on that one is bar none. I agree with every word you just said.
And thank you, my friend. And again, it's so great to have this conversation with you, because it's a much needed conversation. It's so critically important. And I'm also very curious to hear from the marketer pitch community. What are your thoughts about this all important issue of Roe v. Wade? Should companies do more? Should companies do not? From a marketing and communications standpoint, what are the implementations from a messaging and storytelling standpoint? How are they going to now build a community, and how are they going to be ethically truthful and or transparent in the kinds of stories that they need to inform from both internal and external standpoints. There's so much more that we can discuss, and Corey, you could have not said it any better myself. So with that, we're going to put a pin on this episode, and so we are definitely going to continue conversing about this, because this topic is not going to go away. Keep an eye on this, and as well as all other ones, as we continue to navigate through what is definitely we are definitely in an unprecedented era in this country.
Yes. And please, everyone, stay tuned for what hot topics we have for episode 2 of the Intermission Series. I'm excited because for the first time, Yasin and I, we have no idea. We really want this to be as engaging, as up to date, as current as possible. So our topics are open-ended. If you guys have a topic that you want us to discuss, we can definitely do that. But in the meantime, I'm sure we're going to be tackling the next hot topic that's going on in society and in the community overall, from an ad marketing and communications standpoint.
Absolutely. So keep an eye across all of our mediums. Offer your thoughts. Let us know what you are thinking, either via email, social media, or any other of our mediums. And don't forget, this episode will debut exclusively on YouTube and Spotify next week. So make sure you are following, sharing, commenting, subscribing across those mediums. And Corey, let's do this again, unfiltered, unlimited, uncensored, in 2 weeks' time.
Sounds good.
All right, everybody. Thank you all so very much for tuning into the year 2 debut of Marketer Pitch Freestyle, the Intermission Series, unfiltered, unlimited, uncensored. We will see you in 2 weeks' time for episode 2, aka volume number 5 in the freelance freestyle, I should say, collection. So take care, everyone. Till the next convo.
Bye, everybody.